I mean, the one time the guy slaughtered his family was because he had been told to clean up his mess. And he found that just too horrific and too offensive. And so he bumped off his family, you know. And then it doesn't occur to him, well, what the heck are they going to do after that? And most of them are cowards where they say they're going to bump themselves off. And then when reality strikes, they back out. They're afraid. So this guy, no job, has the money enough to go to an arms store. He's freshly 18 years old, and he buys 2 long rifles and 300 rounds of ammunition. And the person at the weapons store didn't think to ask the guy, well, gee, are you going over to Ukraine to help them, or what do you need all of this ammunition for? You know, apparently nobody thought to ask. Nobody thought to ask how he paid for the guns, whether he used grandma's credit card after he bumped her off, or stolen cash, you know. And I can tell you, fam, my generation, we used to stack the cash because the way that we did our housekeeping was you got paid and you had a series of envelopes. And each week you would put a little bit of cash in an envelope for your rent or your gas bill or your car bill. And then when you had the cash all together, you'd pay the bill. A lot of people used to do it that way. They even have a video of doing that from the 50s. And so, like I said, when I worked, I used to do what they call paying yourself first. I would take a $20 bill or a 50, and I would put it in a coffee can in the kitchen and cover it up with a little bit of coffee and leave it in plain sight because my landlord was stealing from me. And one day I caught him coming into my apartment on a Monday morning when he thought I was at work. And I heard the door open up. I went into the living room and he was like, "Oh, you're here. I didn't see your car." I said, "Yeah, I parked it down the block. What are you doing in my apartment?" "Oh, I had some work to do." "Well, you're supposed to notify the tenant before you do work so that they know that you're coming into their place, you know, so you don't get shot or something or bitten by a dog." But he was coming into my place. He would go to my dresser, and each night when I got home, I'd put my wallet in the dresser, dump my change in the top, fold my pants, go to sleep, that kind of deal. And I would forget about the change. And sometimes I would put like a $5 bill in the top of the drawer and come back and the 5 would be gone. So I knew that Mr. Keats was stealing from me. I wasn't the only person uh, who experienced that. And the guy was so pious. He had a son who was a cop or a state trooper or something, and he drove an old white Jeep, and he always had a plastic solo cup of beer in the console. He was very proud that he could drive along drinking a beer and be almost guaranteed that he's not going to get stopped or charged with drinking while driving. That type of person. And the way I lost my apartment was he was one of those people that had the tea bag hanging from his hat. I'm the type, if you got, you know, a condom or a tea bag or something hanging from your hat and it looks like you just rummaged through the garbage, I'm not going to ask you what it's all about, even though you're dying to tell me. And so, long story short, I bought a used car with a Barack Obama bumper sticker on back, and rather than scraping the sticker off and having faded paint on the bumper, or actually on the back trunk lid of this car, I left the sticker. It didn't bother me one bit. And I never tell anybody how I vote for just this reason. So the door opens up, and then the bedroom door opens up, and it's my nut job landlord standing in my bedroom door with the light behind him, very ominous, yelling at me as to why I would dare have a Barack Obama bumper sticker on my car. I didn't feel obligated to tell him or explain myself, but immediately I got an eviction notice. Well, he gave me a substantial raise in my rent first, and he said I had to sign a new lease on the apartment, which was non-negotiable like the first one was, and very strict, ridiculously strict. It was obviously a get the out order. And so he evicted me. I moved out in 10 days on a Sunday. All my stuff got put at the curb. Neighbors came and took my stuff right in front of me. When you get evicted, you still own your property, fam. If somebody comes up and they take evicted property, they're stealing from you. If you're waiting for a moving van or something, you can call the police if you've been evicted. People have a wrong understanding about that, where they come and they just steal your stuff. And one neighbor even asked me if I would help her carry my dresser down to her house. I said, "What, are you kidding?" And I had a very beautiful Art Deco coffee table, which was black onyx inlay in black walnut. Very beautiful table that got snapped up right in front of me. And after I lost after I lost somebody near and dear to me at a very early age, he was only 2 years old. I vowed never to let anything upset me as bad as that, just for the sake of survival. So I let it go. The people were so twisted. They sent me the eviction notice with a stamp, a praise the Lord down at the bottom, and a love. The stamp was a love stamp with a big red heart on it. So I sent them a reply, and where they had put praise the Lord at the bottom, I put Allahu Akbar. I said to myself, that'll shake this hillbilly up if I put Allahu Akbar on the response. So I never told him anything. I went ahead and moved out. And karma caught up and bit the guy in the butt. Because as it turned out, when I moved out, and I never said anything, never called anything, the building had an assessment for lead and taxes and all this other stuff. And it cost the guy over $20,000 that he had to pay, that his son, the deputy or sheriff, couldn't do anything about. But wherever I've lived, I've always been like that. I've been like, God, if I'm here, prosper this place. If I am forced out or have to leave, then let Ichabod be written over the door, that type of deal.